Okay, welcome to, it's a really weird, welcome to my new little football talk series that we're going to be doing. So I would love personally to make a kind of podcast type thing, but I actually have no idea how you go about creating them. So we're going to go with videos from now on, but very rarely that you'll actually see me. I don't really have the confidence to, get in front of a camera and start chatting. Also, it's much easier for me to edit doing it this way. So, welcome to Gonna Talk. This is something that I used to have a series on my channel quite a bit ago, called like Transfer Talk, all different types of football series. When I make these kind of videos, you guys actually love them, which is great, and it also gives me something different to do other than gameplay. Just explaining the series and how it's going to work a little bit without... I realised that I spend too much time explaining things, so I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet, and we'll actually get into talking about something proper, a proper topic in this video. Now, first of all, these videos aren't going to be planned. I'm not going to be sitting here with all facts and everything. I'm going to be going off the top of my head, things that I've seen. Whenever I feel like I'm going to rant, I'm going to chat about something, I'm just going to start recording, and that's the way that it's going to work, basically. There's one, that's how it's going to run. Secondly, the only other rule kind of thing is that I'm not going to just be talking about Arsenal, just because it's called Gunner Talk. It's not going to be, this ain't going to be like an Arsenal fan TV. Third of all, I'm not like that. I'm actually I'm a pessimistic person, but when it comes to Arsenal, I try and have some faith, and I try and, actually support the team, because I feel like that is as a fan, that is what I should be doing, getting behind the team. I chose Arsenal at the end of the day, and I feel like rather than sending death threats to players of the club, I will actually get behind those players, until the end of the season, and right up until, they depart the club, I will get behind every single player. It's hard to, at times, with certain players, of course it is, but, you're not going to see me sending threats to people on Twitter or anything like that. Which gets me into, jumping into this now, talking about the first thing I want to talk about. Other Arsenal fans. I was going to say Arsenal fans, I am an Arsenal fan, but other Arsenal fans. I tell you what, if you are one of those fans that every time Arsenal tweets something or post something on Facebook, you jump on straight away and use that opportunity to slate the team, I'm sorry, but you are not a fan. I am absolutely sick to death of every time. It's putting me off using social media. I go on Twitter now. Back in the day, I used to, a couple of years ago, a few years ago, I used to go on Twitter and have a banter and have not really part of football Twitter itself, but kind of on the sidelines of that, and have banter with other football Twitter accounts and all that kind of whatnot. And it's hard now. It's hard to go on Twitter and talk about football now for me, and I find it very difficult because there is so much negativity around this club at the minute. It's making me not like football. Do you know? And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it does. It makes me not want to follow it anymore. I went into work yesterday, and my boss was like, "What's going on with Arsenal, Kim?" I was like, "Mate," I said, "Please don't." Like, I don't call my boss mate, but I was like, "Please don't." I was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm sick to death of all the negativity around the club. I really am. It's honestly like it's long. It's making supporting the club tiresome. I know the results aren't good at the minute. We're going through a bit of a bad patch. We've not had a completely off-topic shocking season. Not compared to what we've been doing in recent seasons. I know it's frustrating, because when I first started supporting Arsenal, we had Thierry Henry. We were something. We were at the top of the top. Thierry Henry left, and that was when, for me, things started to go downhill for us. We the glory days stopped. And then recently, obviously, not recently, but a couple of years ago again, we ended our trophy drought, which is good, so we're slowly back on that sort of rise again. It's going to take a long time to get there. We've seen so much more money introduced into the Premier League and into other clubs like Man City. There are so many more competitors now. Back when I first started supporting Arsenal, it was literally Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool were kind of like on the fringes, but then they drop off again. Now you've got Man City and Liverpool, who are totally insane this season. Can I just, hats off to those teams. Absolutely sublime. Jurgen Klopp, absolute masterclass, I have to say. Gets the nod over Pep for me, because you know I look at Pep and I think he's got the money. Klopp has built his own empire at Liverpool, which is astounding. And regardless of what, you know, whatever else happens this season, I think Liverpool should be really proud and really pleased and excited for their future as a club, because they I think for me Man City are just about going to do it, but Liverpool are there now. I think next season is going to be hella interesting. So shout out to those. But yeah, like now we've got, like I say, you've got those two teams who are completely dominating the Premier League at the minute. Then you've got Spurs, who, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I have to say full credit. Like, you know, they used to be, it used to be a given that we would finish above Spurs. It was a given to us. They were always in our shadow, and now they're not. Now they are creeping up on us, and now that, you know, now it's looking like it's going to be reversed that way, and I'm sorry to say that, and you know, that's just the way that things have gone, unfortunately. But unfortunately for, you know, us, obviously, as well, me as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, you've got to give credit where it's due to Spurs. They aren't the side. They are 10 times now the side that they used to be. They used to be a joke. They used to be the laugh of, you know, like practically, I guess, what we are to other fans now. But the thing is, we've been on this decline for a while, and I think it's had to get worse for hopefully it eventually to get better for us. We look at Chelsea, who they are kind of in a similar situation to us. I feel like, I'm sorry if you're a Chelsea fan and you find that a bit offensive, but I feel like we're on a bit of a par with Chelsea, because it's like, you know, we have a days where we look good, we dominate, and we look like that old Arsenal that we used to see, and then, you know, we go and lose, you know, to Wolves. So it just absolutely bewilders me. I mean, Wolves have been a good side. I mean, they alone, again, deserve extra credit, you know, where it's due. They have definitely been my, like, team of the, you know, of the season for me. They've been, I think, for a newly promoted side to make such an impact that they have done, you know, they rightfully deserve to be in the Premier League. You've looked at you look at the other teams that have come up, and you think you've seen the struggle, and it's like, you know, Fulham and Cardiff, and it's like, you compare them to Wolves, you would think Wolves have been playing in the Premier League for years, wouldn't you, really? When you look at, like, a back-to-back, I mean, I know they've been in the Prem before, but when you look at that Wolves side, when you look at Wolves and how they played this season, you compare them to Fulham and Cardiff, you wouldn't think that Wolves were a newly promoted side. And that's no discredit to Fulham and Cardiff, because I think it's hard. I think the dip between Championship and Premier League is hard. I think the Premier League's a funny league. It's a really funny league, and I mean, we all kind of saw that when we saw Leicester win the league, which it's insane to think that happened. It feels like a different lifetime ago. It feels like it wasn't real. Do you know what I mean? It was like a fairy tale. Absolutely astounding, but good to see as well. But I'm you know, going back to the original topic about Arsenal fans, I know what I've just said there is you know, there's a lot of negatives from Arsenal to take from that, but I think, you know, we've got a new manager here who hasn't, you know, he hasn't managed in the Premier League before. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, because some of his decisions this season have been, you know, shocking at best. I mean, for me, I have to say, out of the three midfielders of Granit Xhaka, Lucas Torreira and Aaron Ramsey, one of those three, at least one of those three, has to start every game for us. You can't be playing Mateo and El Neni. They're too defensive. Mateo's still learning. You know, I think Mateo's going to be a fantastic player eventually. I think possibly we could look to loan him next season to maybe, you know, like somewhere like Watford, or maybe a newly, I don't know why Watford came to mind, but someone who, like, is newly promoted to the Prem, so he can experience that with them and get used to it. Or perhaps a team like Palace, you know, again, who have been in the Prem for a while, someone, and like I say, in Watford as well, where he can gain that bit of experience and knowledge from, but obviously aren't challenging for top four like we are. So I think that'd do him the world of good next season. I see him get a lot of hatred, you know, and I see El Neni get a lot of hatred, and to be fair, I think he's quite a scapegoat for me, because I don't think he's half as bad as what some people are making out. The thing is, he hasn't played regular football this season. It's very, very hard to stay sort of focused when you're not getting the game time. It's like he's getting bits and drabs here and there, and it's like he's not, he hasn't had the feel all season because he's not been playing most games this season. So he's got to try and get that focus, and that, I know it sounds really stupid, but I would imagine that's quite hard. I know what it feels like. I compare it to my job personally, which is completely different. But if I work in a shop, by the way. If I have a week off from work and I go back into work, them first few days back in work are horrible. I've got customers like, where's your whatever, and I'm like, oh god, I don't know, because the shop's moved around, and I'm like, we'll have like, we're always having new stock coming in, so people are like, have you got this? And I'm like, oh, I'm not too sure, I don't know where I am. It is hard. I know it sounds stupid, but it's true. Things are changing, and it is quite, when you've had that time off, it's hard to get back into things, and you need a couple good I need 2 or 3 days at least to get my bearings again with things, and it like I say, it's difficult. I know it might sound a bit stupid, you might laugh at that, you might mock me for it in the comments or whatever, but I think that's quite an accurate kind of comparison, to be honest, because I like I say, that's how I feel personally when I'm in work, and I can only imagine that's kind of what Elneny feels. It's like, oh, he's had so much time, so much time not playing, just obviously in training and stuff, but not a lot of game time, and it's obviously a complete different intensity from training, and I think I just want to see, less of the whole negativity about the club. I mean, Mustafi is another kind of a whole other topic, I guess, but I just want to see like people just supporting the team. Like, we've got a couple of games left, we're still in the Europa League, we'll see how that pans out for us. We could end up winning that. I know it sounds stupid, but watching our performances against Napoli, I thought we played really professional. In that first game, we did the necessary, we got the result we wanted, we kept a clean sheet, fantastic. We went to Napoli, me and my friend went out to watch both games. I said to my friend, I think as long as we go to Napoli now, get the first goal at Napoli, I said, we're laughing, we've got it under control, and that's what we did. We went to Napoli, played them like fiddles. Lacazette scored a brilliant goal from a free kick. Coincidentally, Lacazette standing over the free kick, and I turned to my friend and said, nah, they're not going to do anything from this, and then bang, Lacazette just goes, shush Kim, and and bangs it in, and that was a brilliant goal, and I stood eating my words. But yeah, I look at those two performances against Napoli as really impressive, and this is what I mean. Emery knows the Europa League. He's won it before, and I think he can lead us to go on and win in the Europa League here. And I know you guys are thinking like, we want to be in the Champions League. Yeah, but the Europa League are what we've got this season. That's what Wenger left us. I'm not discrediting. I'm not knocking Wenger in that statement. I'm just saying it as it is. But Emery walked into the club this season as. Why did I just picture Emery walking into like a Revolution or something club? Like a nightclub, if you don't know what Revolution is. I'm not sure if they have many all over the country. I'm not sure. I think there's a few. But anyway, you've got like I say, Emery's walked into this club, and we are obviously this season a Europa League team. So that's what he's got to take. He's got to take that and be like, right, we're playing in the Europa League this season. We'll do what we can with that. And do what we can in the Premier League. Premier League, we dropped off. We're not playing great at all. Away form has let us down this season. Our away performances are shocking. I said to my dad, actually, when you watch us, we look like two different sides at home and away. It's unreal. So that's something that he needs to think about next season. And I think we've seen glimpses of goodness this season that we can take, and we can take some positives into the next season. I just think, look, Emery's still learning here. He's in his first season at a new club. He's experienced the Premier League now, so let's judge him next season. Let's not, this isn't. I don't think it's fair to judge him, and I don't want to turn into one of those clubs that keeps hiring and firing managers. We had Wenger for so long. It's not something I want to see. I don't want to see us turn into like a Chelsea or Man United as well. I don't want that to happen to us. I mean, I want us to stick with Emery. I want him to work with us, and I understand the frustration from fans, but I really, honestly, it makes it, the fact that whenever you go on Twitter or, you know, Facebook, whatever you use, I don't really use Instagram that much. I don't follow Instagram. I go on, post a picture, come off. I don't really scroll through, you know what I mean? I'm not like I am on Twitter. And I think for other fans, when you're seeing so much negativity about the club, it makes other people feel negative about the club, and it has this knock-on effect. And that's why I don't watch the likes of Arsenal Fan TV, because I don't need that toxic. I don't need that negativity in my life. I'm not that kind of person. So if you're like me and a bit like that, I hope you enjoy these, because you know, I'll try and sort of split things up a bit and try and have a more, I wouldn't say even a more optimistic approach, just a less negative, like, you know, just try and be a bit more real rather than focusing on every single bad point. Like, I've seen a massive difference in Alex Iwobi this season. Again, another scapegoat for me. He gets a lot of stick from our fans. I've seen a big improvement from him this season. We have one solid defender in Socrates as well. I think if we get a good partner with him, don't think Koscielny's up for it anymore. I think, you know, he's 34 next year, I think. Or this year, is he 34? He's nearly 34. Basically, he's cracking on. The guy is having injections in between games and stuff, and he's been a great defender. He's been one of our best defenders in a long time for me. But his time's obviously coming to an end now, and I think next season, you know, we definitely need a bit of a refreshment. Unfortunately, Rob Holding got injured. I think he's going to be fantastic for us, and I think he's one for the future for England as well. He has great technical ability, and he's just so composed as well for such a young defender. He doesn't really make any rash decisions, rash tackles or anything like that. Whereas I find Socrates to be a little bit rash at times, but he's brilliant as well, you know. And I think those two together would perform a fantastic little partnership. Interested to see how Mavropanos turns out for us as well. I think he's definitely got the potential to be a good little player. But I hope, you know, I have no doubt that we will go in for a centre back. I think with Koscielny coming up for, you know, like I say, retirement now, I think that's something that's inevitably going to happen anyway. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to the transfer window. I know we haven't got much money, but we're going to see obviously Ramsey go, which is sad to see. That's a whole different topic. I'm not really going to go into that. I'm sad to see Ramsey go, but you know what? I think we'll be okay. I think as long as we do, you know, it's going to free up some wages for us. I think possibly Welbeck's on his way out. We're going to see a couple departures for sure, definitely. And I just think, have some faith in Emery, guys. You know, if you're an Arsenal fan watching this, just try and, like, contain that frustration. It's hard. It's very hard. But try and contain it and just you know, let's just ride out the rest of the season. See what happens. Let Emery have this summer. And, you know, let's judge him this time next year as a manager. Because yeah, it's really beating me down. Like I say, going on social media and seeing all this negativity about the club. Other Arsenal fans must feel the same, because it's just long. It feels every time. It makes me feel so deflated, and I don't enjoy match day anymore because I'm constantly on edge of if anyone does anything bad. I don't want to be reading death threats about players of my supported club. Don't want to be seeing it. Mustafi has been bad, yeah, but does he deserve death threats? No. Does he deserve people constantly giving him shit on every single thing he posts? No, he doesn't deserve that. No, he's human at the end of the day. He might not be right for us, but you know, I'm sure he will be for someone else, and I don't hate him. You know, people are hating him because he's not good, not doing a good enough job, but neither are the team on a whole at the minute. This is what I mean. I think that brings me to the end of this little rant. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one.